Hello YouTube, this is my first attempt to make a YouTube video on how to build an RC boat, how to choose the equipment needed and arrange your setup. First of all, I would like to say that my setups are based on personal experience. I am no professional and therefore I am not responsible for potential damages or extra cost, that might occur during your build. Uh, for the purpose of this video, I will be using the Genesis brushless catamaran sold on the Hobby King web page. Uh, this is a very nice hull. It's made from polyester. It's light and durable. Its length is its overall length. It's a bit over a meter, but its hull length it's a bit less, around 95 centimeters, and it's a bit narrow. It's a bit narrow hull compared to its length. However, it handles really nice on even on choppy water, and it comes with a motor. However, you need to buy separately a speed control, a radio system, a servo for steering, and of course the batteries. Also, some other things you might need to buy is a LiPo charger and a safety bag to safely charge your batteries. You may need some wires, connectors, as well as some soldering iron, depending on your setup. Also, you may need to buy a watt meter, which helps you keep track of the amps that the motor is pulling, or the max watt that the motor is making. Of course, you can buy some additional props in various diameters so that you can test the prop that the boat handles the best. And in some cases, maybe it's a good choice to upgrade to a 3/16 flex drive, which is translate into 4.76 millimeters compared to the stock 4 millimeter drive. And I suggest this choice in some setups that use a motor with 50 millimeter gun diameter, such as the XK 4074, the 4082, and the 4092. Also bear in mind that you may need to upgrade to different motor mounts, motor couplers, and cooling jackets for your motor, depending on their size. And of course, you need a variety of hand tools, maybe some glue and tape to finish your build. Another thing that is important is that those prices, I picked them from Hobby King today, and therefore they may change. And another thing is that most of the prices are from the EU warehouse. So if you choose to buy your stuff from another warehouse, the prices may slightly differ, and of course they do not include any shipping. So let's get started. I suggest 3 setups according to the voltage used. I like to decide first of all the hole I will be building, and then the voltage, because based on the voltage you will be running, you need to decide on your motors, kV, and then your total RPM. I suggest having a total theoretical RPM somewhere in the range of 30,000 to 35,000, and then based on the voltage you need to decide on your speed control and of course your batteries. So let's start discussing the different setups. Of course, you can use an 8 cell setup or even a 10 cell setup, but I believe that you need to be you need to have more experience to go to these levels and speeds, of course. So the Triple S 3674 is the stock motor coming with a boat. It's rated at 2075 kV and it pulls a max of 73 amps. So the power you are expecting, the max power you are expecting to make with the setup is around 1000 watts, 1100 watts, and you get this by multiplying the voltage with the amps. And then you want to make sure that with this motor and with these batteries you get somewhere in the range that I mentioned before, so from 30k to 35k. So this is in the range and it's pretty good, almost 31,000 RPM. And here Hobby King suggests 100 amps ESC, which will do the work, but in the Hobby King website there is not one rated, so I chose to go with the Catamaran-Marine 120 amps speed control, which is this one. And then I have two choices for batteries. This is the more inexpensive option, which is two batteries in parallel. I prefer to use parallel connection to my boats in general. So this is two Ternigy Forest LiPo batteries with 3 ampere hours each at a 30C discharge rate. So in parallel you will have a total of 6 ampere hours, and the batteries in question is it's this one, the Forest batteries, 30,000 milliamp hours. However, if you want to get a bit more runtime, you can go with this option. So it's 2 ZPs, Forest again, at 5 ampere hours each. So in total you have 10 ampere hours, and they cost about 10 euros more each. So it's this battery, and then you can combine with Ternigy waterproof servo. This is a very good servo with metal gears. It's this one. And then I'd like to use a 2.4 GHz radio system. In this case, you can use the Hobby King GT2B. Of course, you can use any other compatible radio system. So in total, this is the price you get for the setup, depending on the batteries. So the next choice for the Forest setup is an upgrade to the Hobby King HK 3674 motor, which is this one. I wouldn't go with this particular choice because it's pretty much the same power you will get. Actually, in theory, you will get a bit, a tiny bit less power, but a bit more RPMs. Uh, but on the other hand, uh, I can say it would be a nice upgrade because you only need to buy a motor. You don't need separate motor mounts, jackets, you don't need a separate coupler to use on this. So you only need to buy a separate motor, and then you have uh, the same options for the rest of the equipment. And this motor costs around 38 euros, so it's an inexpensive investment. Uh, my preferred choice, if I would like to stick with forest, uh, is this motor, the HK 4074, which is a very good motor. It costs around 43 euros. However, this motor, as you can see here, it pulls almost 50 amps more compared to the stock motor. So we need to take this into consideration and calculate the watts. The max watts will be significantly higher compared to the stock option. It's almost 1,800 watts, and you still get a very good RPM range with this motor, 30k theoretical RPMs. But in this case, you need to upgrade to a high rated speed control, the Catamaran 150 amps, which is this one. It costs almost 50 euros. And it can handle the extra amps that the motor is pulling. So the rest of your choices, the batteries, the servo and radio, can remain the same, and it costs a bit more compared to the previous choices. So what you could do is buy the stock Genesis hull using the stock motor, and buy from the beginning this CSC, the 150 amp CSC, instead of this one. So in the future, if you want to upgrade, you don't need to pay for two speed controllers. However, bear in mind that since we're using a motor with a larger can diameter, you probably need to upgrade to a big flex cable, as you said, to a thicker actually, and you need cooling, and you need a new cooling jacket, and in some cases you need a new motor mount. However, I think this is a very good upgrade for the forest setup. Now moving on to the 5S setup. As you can see here, I still use the stock motor for this setup, but this is not something I recommend, because then you have too high RPMs. It is not necessarily a problem, but high RPMs like this, 38k, may wear your transmission system quicker, as well as your motor. So this is not something I would do. However, you could do this if you decide to use 5S. So use 5S with the stock motor when you buy the Genesis cut, and then upgrade to a larger motor with a lower kV rating, in which the RPM range is really nice. So you use the motor just to begin with, and then you upgrade to a bigger motor with lower rated RPMs. So in this case, you can use either the 120, or if you choose to upgrade, you use the 150 Marine speed control, as we saw before. And I will be using again batteries wired in parallel. So I will be using two Turnigy 5S this time, 3 ampere hours and 30 set discharge rate. The batteries in question this one, so you need two of these at 48 euros each, almost 40, oh, excuse me, it was this battery, the 3 ampere hours on 33 euros each. And if you choose to go with the setup that will give you more runtime, then you need to choose these batteries, which is the Turnigy 5 ampere hours 5S 30 set discharge rate LiPo batteries. And for sure you can stick with the same servo and radio system. Now if you choose to upgrade to the HK7 4074 motor we saw before here, again you have too many RPM. Of course you get a lot of more power, but this is not something I suggest. And in this case, of course, you need the Turnigy Marine 150 amps speed control to handle the max current of the motor. And you can use still the same equipment, batteries, servo, and radio. And now this is the really good upgrade to the Genesis card. So you want to oops, sorry, I have made a mistake. My formulas here. So this is still 5S still equal to 18.5 volts. So I was saying that let me check that this is correct and this formula is correct. So this is the nice upgrade for the Genesis card, playing on 5S, where you have 1450 kV and you pull 100 amps. So in this case you can even use this speed control, the 120. However, it's not something I suggest. I suggest to go with this speed control, and you get a bit low RPMs. It's still it's good. It will work, but it's a bit low. So in general, I would not recommend going with a 5S setup. I would recommend going on a 4 setup or either a 6S setup that I will discuss right now. So obviously you can't run the stock motor with 6S because you get way too high RPM. I think you get over 40,000 RPM. So you buy the Genesis card, and then you need to buy some of these motors. Unfortunately, only the HK4082 is sold on the Hobby King webpage, and right now it's out of stock. This is a really nice motor, and it pulls 100 amps. So you get more than 2 kilowatts of max power and a very nice RPM here. And you need, of course, to use the Turnigy 150 amps speed control. In this case, I will be using batteries wired in series, while in the other cases I used parallel connection. This is the case here because 3S batteries, you can use them in other boats if you plan to buy in the future or you already have. So you can use 3S batteries in smaller boats, maybe in the range of 70 to 80 centimeters in length. So with just a couple of packs, so actually with just one set of batteries, you can power two boats. So you can have the Genesis, and then you can have another RC boat of smaller length. So the cheap choice here is the Zippy 3S 5 ampere hours, rated at 40% discharge. So in total you get 6S and still 5 ampere hours. The battery is this one, really nice battery, and cheap. It costs 34 euros each. So you get this battery as the first option. Then if you want to extend your runtime, you can get two Zippies, again in series 3S each, but this time 4 ampere hours each at 30 discharge. This will extend significantly your runtime. And you can still stick with the same radio and servo used for steering. So this is a really nice setup. You get more than 2 kilowatts of power at a reasonable RPM range. However, if you want to go a bit faster, you need to search for other motors, such as the Triple S or the Leopard motors, or even TP motors. And for this example, I used Triple S motors because they're inexpensive. So in this case, I have the Triple S 4092. It's a really big motor, rated at 1400 kV and pulling a max of 110 amps. So you get a slightly higher power rating compared to the first choice, and you are still in a good RPM range. And of course, you can still stick with the Turnigy Marine 150 amps speed control here, and of course the same battery cells and other equipment. An even quicker choice is to go with the same motor but with a different kV rating. So in this case is the 1650 kV motor. However, this motor pulls a bit higher amps, giving more power, of course. The RPM range is a bit high, but not too high. It's okay. You can still play with this value here. However, the reason is I would not recommend to use the Turnigy Marine 150 ampere AC because the amps the motor is pulling are too close to the limit of the speed control. Hobby King used to have a really nice speed control rated at 180 amps, the Turnigy Marine 180, which costs around 100 euros, but it seems that they are not making this one anymore. So I would go with this speed control rated at 180 amps, and it's high voltage, so it goes up to 14S line pop. So it means that in the future, if you buy a bigger boat, or if you choose to use the Genesis cut with higher voltage, you can still use this really good speed control. However, it's a bit expensive, as you can see here. So then the cost goes high to over 600 euros in this case. A thing that I forgot to mention, that in this cost I have also calculated the cost of the program card for the speed control. So this is the program card that it is compatible with all Turnigy marine speed controls, and this is the programming card for the high voltage speed control I showed here. So in my choice, depending on your budget, I would like to go with the forest choice. So you can spend somewhere around 350 to 380 euros to buy originally the boat, and then you can upgrade. You can of course buy the bigger speed control from start, and then just upgrade the motor and maybe the cooling jacket and perhaps the flex system, as we discussed, at a reasonable cost. If I decided to run on 6S, which I think it's a very good voltage for this hull, if you want to go fast, I would go with either of those two options, either the Hobby King 4082 motor or another motor such as the Triple S 4092 motor, because it still keeps the cost relatively low. You don't have to buy an expensive speed control, and of course you can buy those battery sets or other battery sets of your choice. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think of the video, and please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Goodbye.